Move inside me, move inside you. If you found nothing now, you will simply end up with an apartment and city in debt. Make love to the divine now, and you will have a face of satisfied desire.
Are you all listening to him, or should I not talk?
We're listening to you now.
Well, I was just waiting for Issa to.
He read a poem, or he read from his heart
Yes.
a Kabir poem.
That's what I thought he
Now
was
it's your
doing.
turn again. Now it's your turn again, Garuda.
Okay. Shall I flail with words when love has made the space inside me full of light? I know the diamonds is wrapped in this cloth. So why should I open it all the time and look? When the pain was empty, it flew up. When the pan, I guess, when the pan was empty, it flew up. Now that it's full, why bother weighing it? The swan has flown to the mountain lake. Why bother with ditches and holes anyway?
What are ditches and holes?
You tell me.
Well, it'd be the chakras and the nadis.
Oh ho ho ho! Thank you.
You're welcome. Not everybody will probably know that.
But it's
Now,
nice to.
all of Kabir's poetry, I call it the Circle of Friends Bible because it's a code that describes all the inner secrets of yoga.
Oh, I just love it, darling. The Holy One lives inside you. Why open other eyes to at all? Kabir will tell you the truth. Listen, brother. The guest who makes my eyes so bright has made love to me. Oh, I just love this.
Listen, brother.
What, baby?
Listen, brother.
Listen, brother. You said it right, darling. I laugh when I hear the fish.
Fish in the water is thirsty.
Oh, she knows the whole thing. I laugh when I hear the fish in the water is thirsty. You don't grasp the fact that what is most alive of all of inside your own house, of all inside your own house. And so you walk from one holy city to the next. What makes that noise? Don't shh. I won't read until they stop making that noise.
It's a sentient being making noises, so pause and wait until your next opportunity. You're on the island.
They're on the island.
You made some.
They're on the island. If you'd like to sit down,
What did you put on them? Did he just leave them dry, or did...
Oh, he made a whole thing for himself, but he left extra waffles.
I know. What, did you see them dry, or did...
Butter and maple syrup. He puts butter, bacon, maple syrup,
And an egg.
eggs.
Oh my God. They didn't like the butter and maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, before I
That
say-
sounds good. Pass it on out.
Let's go.
Okay,
Water.
thanks. Look, two of them showed up tonight. Bunchen and Sophia. What a special night this is. Garuda, if you want to keep doing what you're doing, go right ahead.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm
Nothing
going.
like Kabir for my ear.
I love it. Thank you. I laugh when I hear the fish in the water is thirsty. You don't grasp the fact that what is most alive of all is inside your own house. And so you walk from one holy city to the next with a confused look. Kabir will tell you the truth. Go wherever you like. To Calcutta or Tibet. If you can't find where your soul is hidden, for you the world will never be real. Shall I read a little bit of that? Because there's not a lot of noise and it makes.
I'd like to recite a Kabir poem.
What noise we talking about?
When there's any noise in the kitchen, it sounds like it's happening right here at the microphone. It sounds really
All
loud.
right, well, just bring me whatever you've already made and come back, because we don't want to have to stop Dharma Night. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, someone wants to recite a Kabir poem. Would you like to have that done or me read?
Is that a question?
Yeah, Ramana wants to recite a poem, a Kabir poem, and
At the what?
she wants to recite a Kabir poem.
Oh, she does. And does Garuda want to recite some more too?
And Garuda's asking if we want to pause for Ramana or for her to read.
It's up to you, Garuda. Do you want to pause for Amana, or do you want to keep doing until you feel complete and then her do it? It's up to you.
I want to complete this page, and
Okay,
then she.
please.
Okay.
You
Kabir will
completed-
tell you the truth. Kabir will tell you the truth. Go wherever you like, to Calcutta or Tibet. If you can't find where your soul is hidden, for you the world will never be real. Is that enough, or shall we go to
It's
Ramana?
up to you. If you want to read more, please continue.
Okay, I would. Everything experiencing nothing shuts the iron gates. The new love.
Citizen called, wanted to know if we had any more news on her kid. Husband still hasn't been home. I'm guessing she's been out all night waiting.
She's looking for evidence.
Who's talking right now?
Oh, Ramana, is that you? We heard.
I don't know what that is.
What's going on?
Garuda, just start over.
Yeah, start over. I want to hear that. I wanted to hear this all, and I think whatever happened happened. before you were complete with you saying that.
Okay. Experiencing nothing shuts the iron gates. The new love opens them. The sound of the gates opening wakes the beautiful woman asleep. Woo-hoo-hoo. Kabir says, fantastic. Don't let a chance like this go by.
Hey, what's the Iron Gate? Garuda?
What?
What's the Iron Gate?
Can anyone answer, please?
What is the Iron Gate?
I would like anyone to answer that who knows that answer.
It's the crown of the head, where
Ooh,
where the individual opens into the divine.
wow.
And what is the new love that opens it?
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, now I want to read it again.
The
Experiencing.
new love is finding your relationship with God.
Oh, I love it, darling.
And
Experiencing nothing.
what is the beautiful woman asleep that gets awakened by new love? Who's that?
I need to know.
Kundalini.
Ah, Kundalini is
Okay.
the beautiful woman. Wow.
Yep. It's a code for the yoga process of awakening. All of this poetry. That's what it is.
Oh, so wonderful, darling. Experiencing nothing shuts the iron gate. The new love opens them. The Kundalini opens them. The sound of the gates opening wakes the beautiful woman asleep. Kabir says, fantastic. Don't let a chance like this go by. Between the conscious and the unconscious, the mind has put up a swing. All earth creatures, even the supernovas, sway between these two trees, and it never winds down. Angels, animals, humans, insects, by the millions. Also the wheeling sun and moon. Ages go by and it goes on. Everything is swinging. Heaven and earth, water, fire, and the secret one slowly grows a body. Kabir caught one glimpse of that, and it made him a servant for life.
Miles made a one, or Murshid a one. Which compound? Note one. Miles made a one, or Murshid a one.
Is your machine talking to you?
And you got a dog behind you. Lila, you should move.
Do you have any questions about that one?
Oh, thank you for answering everything, darling.
Do you have
You're
any questions about what he's talking about in that one?
let me go back to it.
Okay, you read it again and enunciate with a
Panache.
something and clarify with a punch.
Something what?
Enunciate
With a,
and
I forgot the word.
deliver with a punch.
Experiencing nothing shuts the iron gate. The new love opens them. Oh, I love that. Woo-hoo! The sound of the gates opening wakes the beautiful woman asleep. Kabir says, fantastic. Don't let a chance like this go by. Between the conscious and the unconscious, the mind has put up a swing. The earth creatures, even the supernova, swaying between these two trees, and it never winds down. Angels, animals, humans, insects, by the millions. Also the wheeling sun and moon. Ages go by, and it goes on. Everything is swinging. Heaven, earth, water, fire, and the secret one slowly grows a body. Kabir caught one glimpse of that, and it made him a servant for life.
So what do you think he means by everything is swinging?
Oh, wow. Everything is moving inside of us.
Yeah, and think about how we're all electrical beings. And everything is moving in the universe because of the oscillation between what? He says it in the statement. The oscillation between what?
The two trees?
Lila.
No.
The oscillation between,
Lila, leave it.
in other words, the mind has set up a swing, so that's the oscillation. And
Right.
what is it between what and what?
Self and God?
It says in there, the mind has set up a swing between what two things? He said it. Kabir said it.
Garuda, would you read that part again?
I just want to know if you heard me.
You
I'm
already
looking
said
for it, baby.
He set up a swing. You remember what he said he set up the swing between?
Swing, put up a swing. All earth creatures and all supernovas swaying between these two trees, and it never winds down.
That's right, between the conscious and the unconscious.
Conscious and
Between
unconscious.
the conscious and the unconscious, a swing is set up, which is an electrical charge between positive and negative, and it creates the universe and all living things in it.
Oh, I love it. Oh.
Now, I think it'd be good if you read that one more time.
Okay. Ah.
There might be some other secrets in there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to start with the experiencing nothing shuts the iron gates. The new love opens them. The sound of the gates opening wakes the beautiful woman asleep. Kabir says, fantastic. Don't let a chance like this go by. Between the conscious and the unconscious, the mind has put up a swing. All earth creatures, even the supernovas, sway between these two trees. And it never winds down. Angels, animals, humans, insects, by the millions. Also, the wheeling sun and moon. Ages go by, and it goes on. Everything is a swinging heaven, earth, water, fire, and the secret one slowly grows a body. Kabir caught one glimpse of that, and it made him a servant of life.
What do you think he means by the secret one slowly growing a body?
Oh, it sounds like every person is the secret one. That's what I'm thinking. Slowly growing a body.
You have an idea?
It sounds like everyone, every person, slowly growing a body.
Who do you think is the secret one? Who's that?
The creator?
Yes, that's right. And how is he slowly growing a body? What does that mean? What body is he slowly growing? Are you thinking?
I am.
Say it again.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, we'll give you plenty of time to think, and if somebody else wants to guess, is that okay?
Oh, please.
All right.
Yes.
There might be somebody here that actually knows the answer to that question.
I
Slowly
love.
growing a body of consciousness.
Anybody else have another guess?
Pure primordial space, which is intelligent, hosts a vibration, which creates a light, which creates the elements, which creates all the forms, all the beings of this world. That's how I think of it. Going from the formless to form, slowly growing a body or many bodies.
You know how we say that uh, God is the creator, and we're made in the image of God. So one way to understand what he means by this is that the body, there's only the creator. And then the conscious and the unconscious represents the nothing, or the idea of a universe and worlds and peoples and all that. So between that swinging, it starts out with just, like the diagram up there. Starts out with that, it actually divides in two, and then there's an electrical charge, and then it goes down, and the body that she slowly grows is the world, your body. That's why we say big creators and little creators. And then the little creators actually just, they kind of joggle around and play down here until they're about 80 years old, and they just create stuff. And then everything they created, which was really important when they were here, just disappears like a puff of smoke. That makes sense?
Yes.
What was the last thing you said? Like what?
Puff of smoke. Puff.
A puff of smoke. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Now, do you have more you want to share?
Honey, I could just keep reading and listening to you. Does anybody else have something to share?
Well, let's find out. Does anybody else have something they'd like to share? Didn't Romana say she had a poem she wanted to share?
Yes.
Okay, would you share it with?
Thank you for letting me read.
Oh, this is Dharma Night. Honey, this is Dharma Night. That's what we do here.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you're one of the people that always comes to Dharma Night. Wonderful. So, Romana, what do you want to share?
One of my favorite Kabir poems. The ruby that everyone wants has fallen out onto the road. Some say it's east of us. Some say it's west. Kabir's intuition told him it was inside.
Ooh.
And Kabir's intuition told him it was inside and what it was worth. And so he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Oh, I love it.
The ruby that everyone wants has fallen out onto the road. Some say it's east of us. Some say it's west. Kabir's intuition told him it was inside and what it was worth. And so he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Now, could someone else read the same poem, someone with a different voice? Someone else read the same poem, someone with a different kind of voice.
Ramona, can you share the poem to one of the text chats, hard drops?
I don't have a copy of it in front of me. I was reciting it from heart. It's in the Kabir book if somebody wants to look up a copy of it.
Jim, is that what you're doing? Jim's going to read it.
Somebody else read the same poem, someone with a different voice.
We're working on it.
Okay.
I have a copy of it here on my phone.
Do you want to say it out loud?
Okay.
Okay.
Is Shantaya there?
Kantara, or no, she's at school working on her master's degree.
She's
Up in Santa Barbara.
she's driving here, and
I think she's gonna be here tonight.
she'll be here in about 1 hour.
She has a lovely voice.
Yes, she does. The small ruby. The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road. Some think it is east of us, others west of us. Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in deep waters. Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth, and he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Will you read it one more time with more volume?
Yes.
So I want to get in there, but I'm just having trouble.
Yeah. The small ruby. The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road. Some think it is east of us, others west of us. Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in the deep waters. Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth, and he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Hey, Jim,
Yes, he said.
would you read it now?
Yes.
Let's hear a different voice. Give us enough volume so I can hear it really well.
The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road. Some think it is east of us, others west of us. Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in the deep waters. Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth. And he wrapped it carefully in his heart cloth.
Okay. How about Jacob? Would you read it really
Yes.
loud in a different, so we have a different voice? Is it resting or asleep? Or hurt to be sick?
Are you asleep or hurt or sick?
No. Is he have, is he not feeling good or is he tired?
He says he's resting.
Okay. Resting.
Resting.
The small ruby. The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road. Some think it is east of us, others west of us. Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in deep waters. Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth, and he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Now, let's go back to Jim. Would you stand right here and read it during that way in a larger voice?
The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road.
The small ruby that everyone wants has fallen out on the road.
Some think it is east of us, and others west of us.
Where it's fallen out, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in the deep waters.
It's what? Others think it's, I got last sentence again.
Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in the deep waters.
Okay, I gotta walk in there. Some say it's primitive earth rocks.
Some say
some say-
among primitive earth rocks.
Is what?
Among
The
the
ruby.
small ruby.
Small ruby.
Oh, so some say it's among primitive earth.
Yeah, and some say in the deep waters.
Okay, okay.
Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth. And he wrapped it carefully in his heart cloth. You hear that?
Nope.
Having the hardest time getting in there. Maybe I'll just stop looking for a pair of pants.
You got
I'll
one here?
just sit down here. I want to put on a pair of my shorts, but I'm not
Oh.
finding the ones I'm looking for. I think I know where they are now. But I don't want to keep holding everybody up.
You think you're doing quite okay.
Say it again?
You're doing quite fine.
I know you're doing fine. So, Sophia, would you like to read this poem to us?
Yes, Mershon.
Because if you'll read this poem to us, then I can ask you questions about it.
Hi, Sophia.
The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road. Some think it is east of us, others west of us. Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in the deep waters. Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth. and he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Okay, I think I want to hear Marshita. Will you read it to us?
All right,
I put it in the heart drops thread.
okay.
Thanks.
Wow, flexible.
The small ruby. The small ruby everyone wants has fallen out on the road. Some think it is east of us, others west of us. Some say among primitive earth rocks, others in the deep waters. Kabir's instinct told him it was inside and what it was worth, and he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Ask us what?
And he wrapped it up carefully in his heart cloth.
Wrap it in his heart.
The ruby.
I know, in his heart, what?
Yes.
Cloth.
Cloth.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is this ruby? Anybody want to say what is a ruby?
Realization.
Love.
The divine.
Love.
Yeah, the perfection of love and the divine are the same thing. So
God
that's a ruby.
consciousness.
And where's the ruby?
It fell out on the road.
I mean, what does Kabir say about where the ruby is?
It could
First,
be
he just
east.
tells us it
It
exists.
could be west.
But before that, he says it
Falling
might
out
be,
onto the road.
On the road.
Out on the
might be
road.
falling out of the road in between ordinary rocks.
Yes.
Or, is it or? East or
It
west? Or
has fallen out on the road, and some think it is east of us, and some think it is west of us.
and is the next line, what is found out is from them?
Kabir's instinct told him it was inside.
Huh. Kabir's instinct is that it is inside.
Yes. And also told him what it was worth.
And what?
His instinct also told him what it was worth. And he wrapped it up in his heart cloth. Carefully.
Wow, it's just a big wow.
That's one of my favorite Kabir poems of all time.
Oh, we really love it. Thank you for reading it.
Yeah, I didn't
Garuda,
read
do you
it.
have-
I just recited it.
Garuda, do you have any more you'd like to share with us?
Oh, I could just read and read and read, but I would love to hear everybody say something.
Okay, I think now it would be good if, well, it looks like he's out for the count. Can you do what I always ask him to do? Sing that song?
Can you sing Vajrasattva mantra, please?
No, you.
Me?
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
You've been hanging out with him. I thought maybe.
Yeah.
I might have-
No, you can stay there. You can go back to sleep if you'd like.
I've been listening.
Do you? Oh, good. Would you like to share that song with us? Now, do you want to get together so you're doing it like a duo? And put some harmonies and everything?
Sure.
Yeah, great.
I have a question and a request.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm wondering if they can do the Yeshua version of the Vajrasattva while maintaining
Now, what did she say?
She didn't finish.
While maintaining a very deep heart connection with Vajrasattva and being careful not to get into the overly pressured mental recitation, but staying so focused in your heart on Vajrasattva that the sound of that devotion comes through your voice, even when you're going really fast. Just a personal request of a version that I've always wanted to hear ever since I heard your version of it. Is that possible? Like a special focus version?
Yes.
Yes, I don't have it completely memorized yet. Would it be best for me to be reading it, or should I just go for it?
Now, can you tell me what she said?
What do you feel?
She said
More?
what?
I'm gonna try to just go for it.
It's up to you.
Oh. Yeah, Yeshua, can you do that?
Yeah.
We'll also sing whatever you want to sing, but will you start out by singing a slower version for Ramana?
I don't feel that Ramana asked for a slower version. Ramana's specific request was a specific focus in the third eye or in your heart.
I couldn't hear what she was saying, and that's what Jim told me.
Yeah, that's
So if that's not what she's saying, tell Jim what she's saying so Jim can tell me.
I can say it again.
From what I interpreted from Ramana is that as we go into a faster pace of Vajrasattva, that the tone of my voice continues to hold an essence of Vajrasattva in the heart.
Jim, what does Ramana say?
And that it comes out through the tone so it doesn't get into a mental rushed recitation. It stays in the heart instead of coming into the mind, so that the tone of the voice and the words of the mantra, it's able to be heard by the listener, the devotion and the heart of Vajrasattva.
As Joshua speeds up the pace of the mantra, he maintains the vibration of the mantra, so it doesn't get into the mental head, but maintains the integrity of vibration of the mantra.
That's what she said she does.
That's what she wants Joshua to do.
She feels like when he says the mantra rapidly, he gets out of his heart and into his mind.
Yes.
And she said you can't feel the mantra anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, Yeshua, is there anything you want to think or say or comment on that?
No. I will just be present to her request.
No, and he will be present to her request.
Say it again.
No.
No what? You didn't even listen to yourself. Say it again. I can hear you now.
You asked if there was anything that I wanted
Yeah.
to say back to Ramana. I said, no,
Okay.
I will be present with her request.
Okay. So basically, you'd like to do what she's asked you to do to the best of your understanding of it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Fantastic. Loose, loose. Not like diarrhea. Can be complicated.
We're going to take 3 collective inhales and exhales together. Begin by inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Starting to visualize Vajrasattva sitting on the crown of the head. And 3rd inhale. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Sutokayo Mebuwa Supokayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sa To A Om Bendrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurato Mebawa Sarva Siddhi Mebawa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato A Om Bendrasattva Samaya Madhupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Suto Kayo Mebuwa Supo Kayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Sutokayo Mebuwa Supokayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Sutokayo Mebuwa Supokayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Sutokayo Mebuwa Supokayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Sutokayo Mebuwa Supokayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Bendrasattva Taniba Tishta Titu Mebuwa Sutokayo Mebuwa Supokayo Mebuwa Anurato Mebuwa Sarva Siddhi Mebuwa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Meza Bhava Mahasamaya Sato Om Mendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Gata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Satoa Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Satoa Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ahaho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ahaho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Supokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarva Kamo Suzume Sitan Shiri Guru Hang Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato Om Bendra Sapa Samaya Manupalaya Bendra Sapa Teniba Tishtatitu Meboa Sutokayo Meboa Anurato Meboa Sarva Siddhi Meboa Yatan Sarvo Kamo Suzume Sitan Shirye Guru Hang Ha Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Meza Mama Meza Bawa Mahasamaya Sato. Taking an inhale, holding, seeing Vajrasattva descend from the crown of the head into the heart. Feeling the vibrations of the mantra throughout all the pores of the body. Exhale.
How many minutes a day do you feel that you either hear or you're in the feeling of hearing the cosmic sound, which is between in the head? Did anybody not understand the question?
Between what in head?
What she said.
He was clarifying what you were saying, between the head.
Well, in the head,
He refers to the sound between the ears.
like that one. Yeah. Okay, anybody? Just say anything. If it's a yes or no question.
Every day is different.
Okay, everything's different. Now, what did this make? That sign language. He did that.
Who did that?
That guy.
That was a yes. That was a Clint yes.
Yes.
That was a Clint yes.
Oh, a Clint, yes. So how many minutes a day would you say you're aware of it?
50.
That's very, very impressive. Clint, what about you?
Six.
Sophia?
Over an hour.
Like for a minute every hour, or what do you mean?
Throughout,
Yeah.
it's throughout the day, and it's primarily, it tends to be very in the morning, more prevalent, and then in the afternoon between 1 and 2, and then before I rest. So it's throughout the day, pauses where I'm able to hear inside, be super in my quiet.
So
But it's
you're saying
definitely. Mhm.
that in the afternoon between 1 and 2, and then you said then you go rest. So does that
No,
mean you rest
it-
every day starting at 2?
No, it means usually it's the early afternoon and then before I rest.
Before you rest? Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Garuda, what about you?
I do not have a regular time.
Ramana, what about you?
It's my experience is a little bit different. I don't know if it's something you could time. It seems to me it's going on all the time. And if things get out of balance or frequency changes, then I immediately focus on hearing it again, and it's always there. But it's like I'm more noticed if I get distracted from it than as if it comes and goes. My experience is it's always there.
Thank you. That was a good answer.
Even if I'm doing something else, I could be on the phone and doing other things, and I'm still aware that it's always there. But if
That's
things get
wonderful.
really distracting me, or something distracts me, or I get out of focus or out of breath in any way, I notice it right away. If I can notice it right away, I go right back to listening for it, and it's always right there. And when I encounter it, it's like it never left. I just wasn't paying attention to it on the same level.
Thank you. There used to be a bass and a spinner here.
There's a
and
bass.
somebody disappeared it.
There's a spinner over there. It has green mold on it. It needs to be cleaned.
Okay.
I think
We
that's.
have any that don't have green motors?
Yes.
Put it
There's
over
this one
here.
right here.
Jim,
He doesn't want to move.
He's
He wants
just-
them on either side.
he's asking just to have that glass
There.
so that he has access to grab one where he sits.
Yeah, and so we have one on both sides, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, I think Dustin has a wonderful announcement to make. You want to talk about what we talked about this afternoon? You don't have to.
Yeah, yes, I will.
Yeah, good. This is the culmination of everything that happened since we ran into each other on the street at 4th Street, and our eyes connected and everything turned into light. And that was like creating a baby who was slowly growing a body, and it's about to be born this weekend.
You want to see?
Yeah. Sit here.
I put together a rough draft on paper of what we will do, calling it the vision for the integration of the Dream Factory Experimental Music School and Studio into Liberty Arising Healing Sanctuary.
Excuse me, I swallowed water the wrong way. Okay, now I'm done.
Currently, I have this in kind of like in an outline form, and so it's organized into personnel, myself, Shantaya, Mershida Rudy, Etha Love. The assets, music studio equipment, currently owned by the New Being Project, which will be transferred to OOV, nonprofit organization focused on creative arts and yoga. Future ownership, Dustin and Shantaya will assume ownership of OOV and form a board of directors to oversee the development of projects related to the music studio and school. The facilities, Mo, the Red House in front of Liberty Arising, and Poe, Black House behind the Red House. And 7 acres of undeveloped land near the entrance of Liberty Arising. 3-month plan is 1, to convert Poe into the Dream Factory Experimental Music School, utilize the smaller room as the recording studio, and transfer most of the music assets into this space. And then set up according to the vision, the original vision for the experimental studio that came through you, and then the collaboration between that and the music studio.
Say a little more so I know exactly what you meant.
When all of this started as the experimental music school, and I got involved and implemented the studio aspect of it. So I see it as at least 2 things, a collection of instruments for all kinds of people internationally to come and experience and utilize, and and also a music studio where people can record and create.
Yeah. So I know some of the things I've done that look crazy to some people, but it won't look crazy if you understand how I experience life. That I might experience life different than somebody else. So with me, I was given the wazifa yasami, which is the aspect of God that is listening. So listening is what I practice. I just stay quiet almost all the time and listen. And so one day we were walking on 4th Street from 2 directions, and we saw each other and a light flashed, and we disappeared for a moment. And then when we came back, a seed had been planted. And for no apparent reason that I had no idea why, I'm living down here, and all of a sudden I was listening and I was like a magazine maybe or something, and I saw, oh, piece of music gear. And I heard, you want to buy this. And so because it was a little weird, I pushed it away at least 1 or 2 times. But the way I was trained is you can't push that away 3 times. So after the push it away once and then another again, when it came back again, I just bought that piece of equipment. So I don't know, I thought it was about 9 months, and I told you, called me up about that friend that needed a place to stay. Maybe something like that. Yeah. And he had no idea what I was what I was doing, and we hadn't talked hardly at all, or maybe not at all, in that 9-month period. And he called me up and he said, got a friend who's looking for a place to stay, and I know you're not a rental agent, but do you think there's any possibilities? I said, well, bring them all over. And he showed up one day, and for the first time he saw, I bet there were 20, 25 pieces here, weren't there?
At least, probably
least.
more than that, yeah.
Yeah, that all of them bought, never used any of them, had no idea about it, but I just heard to do it. And so I realized, looking back on it, that Dustin had created this music school. And I, by my advanced ability to hear, and by advanced, I mean the more you practice something, the better you get at it, I questioned less and just did what I was hearing without questioning. And so I realized you combine my hearing and my, what's that new word? Baseness, my baseness. I put this on the heart truck. What's a base? My baseness, I had in the hands, the ears, and the hands and the feet that put Dustin's music school here, because I read it all off of his mind. But I didn't know I was doing that. But when that light flashed, we became one. There was no difference between our psyche. And we're in Greek, the word for psyche and the word for spirit and the word for consciousness are all the same word. So the light clearly wanted us to do this. So we've been working on it for a few years. There's a few years? Yeah.
Since 2020.
Since 2020.
Yeah.
And like every project, it has a beginning, which is a beginning. It has a gestation period, which it forms inside and outside. And then it has a day when the sprout breaks the earth and comes up. And that happened a couple of days ago. And we started talking about it. And I knew, okay, that period's over. We're not going to create it. So when we got Liberty Advance, Murshida was wanting to do that for the community. And the community had been working for a long time on having a place where people can live and practice and work. She said, I want to take that on. So she went out looking around and everything, and I decided not to just let her do it. And she found a certain piece of land, and she said, this is it. And I think she got Luke to finance it. But then when she thought about it, it didn't really have any place for us. And then she realized she wanted us to have a home there. So there was a piece attached to that piece owned by a different owner where there was a home and a barn. And she's reached out to see if we could buy it, and they didn't want to sell it. But not much time went by, and she got a phone call. We decided to sell it. So she got together with her friend Luke and created the financing. And we had a place, that's our place out there. And that's 40 acres. And it includes everything more or less from that tree line just south of the house. Those poplar trees? Yeah, something like that. All the way to the upper road and on the left to the side road. So that whole big field and the barn. And so we realized not too long ago that we were ready to use it. And that's the community, the music studio and School of Experimental Music were ready to be born. And so without getting into the details of this, that, and the other and how it all happened, which is just a bunch of blah, 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 we're going to be moving there with Dustin Shantaya, move there. We'll move all our gear out there. And it'll be born out there. And they'll live and work in our two places on that 40 acres. And then we have our barn, which we're happy to, it's a pretty big barn. We're happy to share that with people at the original, this original larger piece of 130 acres. Didn't somebody say it was 70 acres and not 40? Did I hear that?
It's more like 43, 4 acres.
Okay.
And then there's the 7 on the top.
Oh,
And there's
the top is 70.
7, the very tip top is 7 acres. And there's about 43, and then there's 113. There's 3 parcels.
Oh, I don't know about the 2 parcels you mentioned. I just thought
113 is the retreat property where we host all the groups
The
and do our
first part.
courses. We bought that first.
Yeah.
And then there's the 3 acres that is the Moempo house and that acreage. And on the very tip top, there's a long skinny strip of 7 acres.
Where the Buddha with the hole in his heart that somebody stole was?
Yeah, there,
Yeah,
under that tree.
it's interesting. Anyway, we saw that it's time to use it, and we're going to move the music studio in there. And Dustin Shantaya, of course, will move too. And it'll be born next week. Did that cover it? Do you have a little more to add?
Yeah, I was about halfway through.
Oh, but keep going.
Okay, so I see it as currently there's a 3-part vision. One is an artist residency program, hosting musical artists for 1 to 3 weeks, granting them access to all music assets and providing a studio engineer, such as myself. And then 2, a for-profit music studio, operated by myself as the sound engineer. So I can do what I've been doing here, where I have clients come in and pay hourly for me to record whatever they want to record. And then the experimental music studio, showcasing world-class collection of musical instruments and attracting international visitors for the purposes of healing, creativity, and content creation, such as social media, videos, and such. So that's the 3-month plan. And the 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 year plan would be to develop and grow the studio and school while saving money and soliciting donations for a future relocation of the studio.
For what?
For relocation in the future of the music studio.
Oh, you don't see it being at Liberty, but temporarily?
I'm getting to that part.
Okay.
So the vision is to collaborate with our friend Ginny, who has the tiny home company. She really loves building tiny home communities. So we would like to develop a tiny home community on the 7 acres at the front of the property.
Oh, on the other, does it include the tree and the other side?
Yes.
Oh,
So it's undeveloped, so we would need to put a well and probably solar or connect it to the grid somehow. And she said that the homes can be built, custom built, so they don't have to be a home, but they could be
a shed.
No, not a shed. It could
Well,
be,
I don't mean they would be a shed, but I've heard that if it's not beyond a certain size, the city of the county will keep it in the shed category, so it doesn't need to be permitted.
I see.
That's what I meant.
Under a certain amount of square footage.
Yeah.
That's like the Gaia hut, small.
Like what?
Like what they're calling the Gaia hut.
It's like under 150 square feet.
It's Sponda's original hut. Sponda built a hut.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yes, she
Oh,
built
that's
that
like-
inside the Malibu limit of what a shed can
That's
be
right.
and not be permitted.
Does everybody know what we're talking about? Okay.
My point being is that the tiny home, the people that build the tiny homes can custom build tiny music studios.
And tiny homes.
Yes. So I'm currently envisioning a community of several homes, and then however many we need, structures that will house the music studio.
Oh my God. That's
I'm looking ahead at how we're going to grow out of being in the red house and the back house.
Ah, okay. In other words, that you'll
awesome.
grow out of that,
Yes.
and you'll actually on the east side of the land, you'll create
North.
Yes.
something new.
North
At
side.
Liberty North.
Liberty North.
Yes.
That's great.
Wow.
So that's the longer term vision I have, is to not be in the house the whole time, because right now I don't know what's going to happen, or Marshita would move back there, or it's way too early to know. But I'm envisioning outgrowing that space, and as soon as possible, really.
In the first 1 to 3 years.
That would be, yes, that would be great if we could do it in 3 years. I think 3 to 5 years is a realistic goal if we really set our minds to it.
How long does it take them to put a tiny home together?
Not very long.
6 to 8 weeks is their current
6
time
to 8
frame.
weeks.
For one home?
But if they're going to be custom built, it would probably be more like 2 to 3 months. They can produce them very quickly.
Basically, it's modules. You bring them together and connect them.
They work with tiny homes on wheels. They work with semi-permanent homes. They work with modular units. They work with a variety of different styles of units, which all have their own different permitting and laws and things of that nature.
Jenny's specialty is building communities.
Say again?
Jenny's specialty is building
Yeah.
the communities.
So what is what's the general price of a tiny home?
Anywhere from 70 to 100 grand.
And how many tiny homes just off the blue do you see out there for living and working on that 7 acres?
I would say 2 to 3 for living and 2 to 3 or 4 for music studios, depending on how big they can get.
Yeah,
you know, we could move out of the framework of tiny homes and just build one facility that's the music facility.
That's right.
That's a different approach, but I do like the idea of working with Ginny to create a tiny home community.
I do too.
And if it makes sense to have them custom build studios, that I would need to know how big they can build it before I can say how many it will take.
We're looking at about 6 or 7, sounds like.
The largest cost would be most of the infrastructure and land development.
Yeah, so in other words, for under $1 million, we could create everything. Including
that's
maybe,
realistic.
maybe even one large place the size of a barn.
Yes. And we would need to put a well. Do you know how much a well costs? Like 30,000?
About 10,000.
Could be upwards of 100,000,
There you
depending
go.
on where you're at, plus, yeah.
So there's that, and then I'm not sure how electricity would work. Probably a combination of solar and connecting to the grid.
Yeah, solar must be good out there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our big announcement we want to share with everybody, and this is going to begin next week.
Yeah.
At the same time of the detox. So everybody in this house will be at the detox, or moving the music studio and experimental school out there. Well, not experimental school, School of Experimental Music. Anybody have any questions about that?
Is there any interface between Jack and Rachel about it?
I'm going to let Yeshua answer that. He's Jack's cousin, nephew.
I've been invited to sit down to have a discussion with Jack, Rachel, and Mershida.
And Thomas.
And Thomas.
That'd be important for me to Thomas to be with Mershida, because then you have a balance.
A day or two, or the day of the start of the detox, depending on their time frame, to discuss what the vision would be for the project and how we want to.
Excuse me.
How we want to present this vision to Jack and Rachel in a way that feels harmonious for everyone. And so when Jack comes out of his dieta by end of day Tuesday, I will reach out to discuss a day and a time to where the 5 of us can meet together.
And I think that what Dustin just shared with us, if he could make copies of that for them as well, of his vision, and then that could be a beginning for the conversation to at least start with somebody sharing their vision, because that was so well done, Dustin.
Thank you. I just sent a copy to Mershida and Yeshua.
Good.
And it has a few more things at the end, which are details about Shantaya and I being there, and also caring for the house and maintaining the standard for caring for Mo and Poe.
What are those? Details about you and Shantaya being there.
Yes, it's more like we would agree with Mershida how we would care for that part of the property and take care of it, and being in alignment with the 4 prime directives and so on.
Okay.
And integrating with the rest of the community there.
Terrific.
Perfect. Very
this is what
exciting
happens.
news.
Say it again.
She said
Very exciting news.
It is. This example of what happens when you shift your brain into listening. Because when you're talking and thinking, you're just running through what you already believe you know. But when you're listening, you have the option, ability to learn something new and create out of what you're learning. So if you orient yourself to just being quiet and listening, then you'll start being sensitive to see and hear what God wants to make, being the creator, what God wants to create here with his hands and feet, which are the people that live here. And then what you'll do, and you'll just be making things for God. You won't be making things for other people. You're just making things for God, the creator of you, creator of all of this, and help him in his fun experiment. So I recommend making that conscious shift to anybody who can see what I'm saying. And then you'll start to do things that you can't figure out why you're being seen to do this. You'll be shown things to do that why. And if you can get over getting your ordinary mind involved and questioning it and deciding whether you think it's a good idea or a bad idea, which would mean you were wanting to evaluate what kinds of good ideas source has and what kind of bad ideas source has, and then you'd be the arbitrator of that. So if you get all of that and just realize you're a servant, you're the hands and feet and a servant of source, things will happen like this. You'll just be creating somebody. Everybody think you're crazy. Because for me, I don't play any of these instruments. I've never wanted to. It's just through the practice of yoga, I've developed a ability to hear the harmonious sound all the time without trying to hear it. It has where through being quiet inside, your consciousness gets more and more and more and more refined to the point with your consciousness becomes of the substance of space. Space, source is an energy part of space. So this is my role here has been to create a school of consciousness for whoever it is will come, source will bring here. And this is it. And this is a big project. Have we ever done any other projects big like this?
Not quite this big.
Yeah.
I mean, we started a chocolate thing in Long Beach, but it wasn't quite like this.
So this place, this home that somebody started calling heaven, and it's stuck. It's gone through many phases. I mean, used to Ruby and Lulu lived here, and just all kinds of things. And gradually, it became a school of consciousness and a home of Dharma. And Marshita has a story that she tells, is that when she would come visit me from living at Liberty in Mo, and she'd even get just partly down the walk to the front door, and she'd feel this force. And then well, I noticed, and I asked her if she noticed it too. She said yes, that when we were just here together doing nothing in particular, things started happening around us spontaneously that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And so that's when we realized that it was important for us to live together. So now this place that we call heaven has become this cauldron of creation. You know that song? We are the crown of creation. It's the crown of creation. This has become the crown of creation. So we have a lot of fun here, and because of it's the crown of creation, and the creation has been created by Source, for Source, and we just play a role in helping Source do stuff. What gets created comes from Source. So this is the first gigantic project that got hatched in heaven. And I wouldn't be surprised as we move toward, we've been talking for a few years about owning the Dharma having a ground, which currently we don't have because we sold our home where Dharma had a ground, but we never replaced it. It's very important for the next phase, the one that's coming, this one, the third level, very important for Dharma to have a ground to initiate the beginning of that third level of growth. And so, and there's something about Encinitas that was recognized by Yogananda. And y'all have heard that story, hadn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we know it's supposed to be here. And sometimes people say, well, could it be Oceanside? And I really don't have a yes or a no about that. I think, I just want to be open, but I suppose it's supposed to be right here. So that will be the next step to where there can be a permanent home and a ground where Source can create for world evolution over the next generations. Because this will go on for generations and generations and generations until it covers the whole world. And that, which is all we're here to do. All right, so I'm glad we could announce that. I may have want to have anything to say about any of that.
Yeah.
What?
I think there's something growing between your interview and my interview with Guru Simran. And I feel like there's a real opportunity here for there to be a greater interface between the two dharmas. And I think that's going to grow everything. It's a real possibility. And that's a huge international organization. I think there's some sprouts coming out of these interviews that's going to create an open door and a much larger audience for the teachings and the things that we offer here, and with people that are already practicing yoga and meditation. I think there's a real interface possible between the two organizations that will exponentially grow everything we're talking about.
What's the other community?
3HO.
3HO.
Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan.
Oh, I know what 3HO is, but I also know that the leaders and official people in 3HO slandered Yogi Bhajan and broke away from him because he was toxic. So it was just definitely not going to be with any of those people. So
No,
that's,
there's a split. I'm
yeah.
not talking about that. I'm talking about the positive things that are coming from the interviews of the early days of Yogi Bhajan and the original foundation students that you and I belong to that club. So I think these interviews are going to be a way for that to grow some positive things.
Can you tell me what she said? There was a split, and then she said more.
Yes, she's relating to the people who do want to know from the early days these relationships with Yogi Bhajan and these experiences, and they're not part of the people that have called him toxic and want to split off from him. So you all are part of the Yay Yogi Bhajan Club and have your own experiences, and she's relating to those people.
Yeah,
I
we're
can
talking
really
about
feel that.
Espanola, Yogi Bhajan's ranch, and Yogi Bhajan's headquarters in Espanola, about a half an hour from here. The people
Oh,
carrying
yeah.
on his legacy.
Yeah.
People carrying on Yogi Bhajan's legacy in
And
Espanola
Yeah. And
at his ranch.
what's the name of their organization? I know 3HO is the official one, and I know the leaders of 3HO split with him and took it over. And I know they'd been working on it for 4 years, and that was the third try, and it was finally, he let it happen. It's all part of his plan. That's all that's really clear.
Well,
He
that's
wanted
what
to do a culling. He wanted to do a culling. So anyway, who are the ones that we're going to partner with?
I don't know the organization around them. Is it Kundalini Yoga International? I don't know all the different entities that were involved.
Or is it
Primdev
not
may
an
know.
organization at all, but just a group of people?
Primdev may know. She is a part of all that, and she knows about that. And she
Yeah,
is
you'd have to ask Prem Dev. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that there's positive things coming out of the relationship between myself and yourself with these interviews contributing to the early days legacy of Yogi Bhajan. And from that, and the people that are in their hearts responding to the truth and supportive of his legacy are the ones that I'm talking about. And as far as the politics, I would leave you to Prem Dev about all that, because I'm not even myself up to date on all that, but I know there are factions, and I'm not talking about those factions. I'm talking about the ones that are living at the Espanola Guru Ramdas ashram.
Okay, I can really feel that.
So it's a different vibe. And I wanted to say that when I had my interview, Yogi Bhajan came through and told me to tell them that he's very proud of how they've carried on through this test and this, like you called it, a culling. And he said it was all one of his, greatest teachings was what all this stuff that came down and how it showed people their true selves. And he said to tell them how much he appreciated them carrying on his legacy as the Aquarian teacher, and how he's so proud of them and how much he loves them. And Guru Simran felt it in the room, and she started to cry. And we shared a very sacred moment together when that happened. And it happened right after we chanted Om Namo 3 times, really beautifully. And it was so clear to me that he just came through and said all that. And then she had the same experience of his presence. And we just had a real bonding moment. And then we did the interview. So out of that blossoming love came these visions that I'm having now about what's possible to have growing from that in a positive direction that benefits all sentient beings beyond politics.
I couldn't hear any of that. So can you tell me what she said? She's not talking in little bits like you asked her to.
Yes.
Could you just summarize it so I know?
Uh-huh.
Stuff?
She had the interview with Simran Kaur,
Yeah.
and they both felt Yogi Bhajan's presence in the room,
Oh, yeah.
and that Yogi Bhajan had a message for all of them who are carrying on his work in Espanol at the ashram. And she
So
was able to
the
channel
people
that.
that are with Yogi Bhajan still have the ashram
Mhm.
in Espanol. Okay, keep going.
So she was able to channel that message of love and how much he's proud of them for carrying on the work and being teachers of the Aquarian age.
Yeah.
And then
The split was a test.
and the split was a test, and they passed the test, the culling, as you called it. These people who are at the ashram passed the test. He's proud of them and he loves them very much.
Brilliant. I know we're I know we're partnering with those people, and I know that his relationship to us is just as real and profound and important for what he came here to create as people that are more, like wear white or something like that.
Yeah, we're just
know?
hands of the same body.
Yeah. There were
We're
two
doing
of
the
us.
same work.
What she said?
We're doing the same work.
Yeah. Okay. Punchin, what do you want to talk about?
Nothing at the moment.
Well, last time Jerry was visiting us, we had a wonderful time with him. But without saying anything, he drove off with the truck, his truck, that he was letting us lease from him, just so much fun. And now that we're moving the music studio and some of the folks that haven't to Liberty, we're going to need another truck because my only car I have is that Ford electric truck. So if you would talk to Dustin and y'all work together to make some kind of arrangement with Jerry so he feels good and clear about letting us continue to use that truck, which Dustin said initially he didn't know whether it would be so good, but after being with it a little bit, he thought it was great. Or come up with another idea. Maybe just a brand new truck off the lot or used truck off the lot. But we need to figure this out before Thursday. What day are they going out there? Thursday? They're going out a day early. What day is that?
Which day are you going?
Oh,
Joshua and Shekinah are planning to go on Thursday,
And you?
and me in separate cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to figure this out for Thursday because they'll need a way to get there. And I can't, it's not practical for me to be left here without a car.
On
Okay.
that note, function. On that note, I did speak with Jerry a day ago and asked him, because we were moving things around in the house and potentially moving one of the treadmills to storage. And he said that the F-250 is currently at the warehouse in Fallbrook. It's not being used. And he said if I wanted to use it for the weekend or for a period of time, that I would just have to drive up there and get it. We still have keys, the extra keys. We still have it. And so it would just be coming to some type of solution for either a longer term or what it would be for a month to month if the F-250 feels like the most optimal solution for the team.
How do you feel about F-250 being the music studio car?
A music studio car.
I mean, it'd be what you and Chantai would
Yeah,
drive.
and I feel good about that.
Okay, I just, you know, you like it. You said you like it.
Yeah. I have something I'd like to add here, because something that I'd like some collective help in figuring out,
Yeah.
which is that, so we used to have a black Dodge Ram truck that we bought from Kane for $8,000.
What?
Black Dodge Ram.
Oh, yeah, what happened to that?
We traded it to Kane, and it was going to be a trade toward the silver truck I was driving for a while, the gray one. Remember the F-150, the basic, it was like an entry-level F-150 that I drove for a little bit.
Big, go ahead.
So I think that was the agreement, that we would put the Dodge truck as a credit toward that car. But then we ended up giving that car back because we got into the lawsuit, and then we gave him the truck and the Mustang back. He sold that black truck to Okalani for $5,000, and then his nephew trashed it, and it's currently parked behind the warehouse. But Kane sold it without any authorization for me, and he never got the pink slip for me. So I technically still, that car is in my name, and it's parked at the warehouse.
Okay, so when you and Punchin figure this out, that's an important part.
I think that's part of it. Jerry doesn't really have anything to do with this. This is, I believe this is more of a thing with Okalani. But I'm not sure what to do about it yet.
Okay.
But I think it would, because Kane's involved, I don't think Kane's going to give us money for it, and I really don't think Kane's going to give Okalani the money back for it.
All right. That's
Is
why
there
we're
anything else
not-
left? Is there anything else left at the warehouse besides a broken truck?
A few things, yes.
Oh,
Some of our gear still out there.
A few items, right? The ROM machine, exercise machine, and a couple of the older bikes.
Yeah, it's where, you know, those cost $21,000. It's not a cheap thing. We don't want to have that disappear. It also was based on years of scientific research to get an optimal cardio and muscular workout within 4 minutes, because its nickname is the 4-minute ROM. The people who designed it with that intention, who were, remember as an engineer, he partnered with that fellow, the artist, who was creating the art. I forget what it was.
Probably Clint knows. Ask Clint.
Who?
I would ask Clint.
You're talking about the ROM machine?
Yeah.
I thought it had something to do with Tony Robbins.
No.
No?
Maybe, could have.
Really?
I know he has one and he carries around on his plane wherever he goes. It's his #1 fitness tool. But there was a fellow that was doing a certain kind of art that I just can't remember. I can almost picture him. I can't remember. And this artist and this engineer got together and took all this research and created that thing. So it's very, very special and valuable. What else did we leave up there?
There's the saddle core rider. It's like a little horse saddle.
Oh yeah, I
that
love
you
that
sit
thing.
on for your core.
That was my favorite piece in the whole video. Have you ever ridden that?
I've sat on it, but it's never been plugged in when I've used
Oh
it.
my God. That'll give you a workout like nothing else. It's all in the core.
There's a massage bed that came from Liberty with a wooden frame.
And I think I know that one.
And then there's 2 very, very old pink and red
The original juice bikes.
bikes.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
prototype
With the
model.
little rug on the back.
Correct.
Yeah.
Those
Three,
are the
3 gears, right?
Those are the remaining pieces.
And why do we want to keep those up there and not other things?
Those were the last things that just couldn't fit into the third 26-foot U-Haul the trip that we made.
So was there a plan to go right back and get the rest of them?
There's no space currently for them to go.
But there will
Well,
be, we're moving the music studio gear out of one storage unit. That will clear up a lot of space.
Yeah, I've heard there's something called, I don't know, what are those things called? They're boxes and you rent them?
Pods.
Pods, and also there's some that are part of a business. What are those called?
U-Haul.
Well, if there's containers, shipping containers, and you can either buy them separately or there's companies that sell them.
No, didn't mean that. I mean, they have a land and there are a whole bunch of them. And then you can rent them by the month.
Storage units.
But they don't go anywhere. They're not pods.
Yeah, those are storage
Storage
units.
units, right. I've heard that we.
That's what we have,
we have
storage
that.
units,
Okay.
and they're full.
Well,
Until a music thing is out.
I don't
That's what
think
Dustin said.
everything in all of them in the whole North County area are full. I bet you there's some.
No, just talking about what people could contribute towards and afford in the moment to do the first step. They got so many of them and rented a truck and did the part they could do in that moment.
That didn't sound like a Rudra Yoga idea to me.
Well, it was a step. The people came together and managed that much.
And they haven't been introduced to Rudra Yoga. Because Rudra Yoga is based on the 3 principles. Creation principle, the golden formula, and the Magdalena way. So it's a totally different way of thinking where you're working with the divine ratio rather than the limitation on the complication of your undeveloped mind. So I'm surprised we still have people in our midst who just don't even practice Rudra Yoga. Maybe don't even know about it. What do you think about having a one Rudra Yoga class a week where you teach Rudra Yoga? I'd even do it with you. All right, well, let's be sure to get those things. You can put them all right here if you want to.
When it's arranged with Jerry to go get the truck, if the truck is the solution that we're moving towards.
Oh.
He's just
Yeah.
moving
Okay.
back. I believe all of those items would fit in one load of the back of the F-250, and then that cycle can be completed as the refinement of the studio equipment moves to Liberty, and then we can move from having 3 storage units to 2.
Okay, that sounds great. But Funch, can you and is it Dustin would talk to Jerry and make that happen? Or would it be you and
It could be Fanchin and Dustin, it could be myself, it could be...
well, let's go ahead and get it out of the thinking mode and make a plan.
It would more than likely make sense for it to be Fanchin, Dustin, and myself.
On a 3-way call? Or you could meet with him in
I can see if Fanchin
maybe the Garlic capital of the world?
I'll see if Jerry's available to either, if he's going up there to Fallbrook in the next couple of days, or if he's willing to meet us here and we can find a time for Fanchin to join us on a video call.
Yeah, well, we could all do a video call. All you do is say HEYPORTAL, call Jerry Sanchez, and then you're all on video together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's function if you and Yeshua could make that happen tonight or tomorrow, that'd be great. So then we have a way, we have a truck and we can move everything there and there'll be a way to get things in and out. Now, I know that Jerry told me one time that he was happy to either lease that to us, or I think he said it was worth $15,000, and he said he'd be happy to sell it to us on payments. So if my hearing is accurate, that'd be something you could develop with him if you wanted to. We just need to be sure we have it, next couple of days. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody want to talk about that? Sophia's not here anymore. I was going to ask her 5 questions.
She put a text in the group chat saying that she had to leave and she had to go work.
Text her back and say we had 5 questions for her and she didn't let us know before she left. And we don't sit and read text while we're in Dharma Night.
Yeah.
Quinn, do you have anything you'd like to talk about tonight?
John Petrie.
John who?
Petrie,
Petrie.
Petrie,
Petrie.
Petrie, that's what I heard.
Yeah, John Petrie. What's that?
He's a famous artist,
Who helped develop the ROM?
and he worked with Al.
Oh. What's the form of art he does? It was very popular.
It kind of very psychedelic landscaping work.
Moving? Did they move?
Art, no, art, like a portrait.
Okay.
Shakino would like it. It's pretty cool. It's like some landscape portrait work. Kind of looks like her stuff.
Could you text the people in Dharma Night tonight a couple of links to examples of his work?
Yeah. So Alf was a man who was involved with Nautilus. Nautilus was a company in the late 70s. It's still a company now, but in the late 70s, it was a pretty it was a pretty popular company for exercise equipment. And he was the main salesman who would sell you a series of exercise machines for your home. And they were machines, and they were all for specific body groups, So there were 5 machines that you would buy, and you would work out in a way that it came with a program that was based on Dr. Arthur Jones's technique, and he called it high intensity training. Not to be confused with high intensity interval training. So he developed high intensity training protocols with Nautilus. So Alf was the main representative of Nautilus, but he was wanting to figure out how to combine what I just said, high intensity training and high intensity interval training. So HIT and HIIT.
Interval training.
How to combine the
high intensity training with high intensity
interval training.
Interval training. Okay.
So he was thinking about it, and then this artist just he created this beautiful portrait of the machine already. So he had already written, he had already designed something on a portrait, and then he was able to figure out how to transmit that portrait into a piece of exercise, so that he could, once he saw that image, then he started taking all of the knowledge that he had from Arthur Jones and putting it all together in one machine. And then the last little bit is Arthur Jones didn't approve of it. So Arthur Jones said, "That's it. So you're fired." And so then they cut ties, and they kind of went in their own direction. And that ROM machine is still the same ROM machine that he developed. I think it took him about 15 years, and then in 1989 he finally designed it. And then of course, it's like it won all of those awards. And it's still the same machine. Like there's been nothing has changed.
Yeah, no design changes.
No design changes, and yeah, it's fascinating, and it's one of those experiences, like and I know that it's not really it's definitely not an easy way to work out, and so it can be a challenging experience to explain to someone. So that's why we had designed the gym to have that ROM, and then you could experience it without knowing it. You wouldn't know what you were going into, but as soon as you came in, all of a sudden you would get to experience it.
Thank you for sharing all of that. Got me really inspired to start using the ROM machine. He's gonna bring it here tomorrow, next day, and then I kind of have an idea of where we can put it. And I've also got a very unique new idea for what people usually call an exercise bike. It's very efficient in 4 minutes of giving you all the cardio you need if you do it for 4 minutes, 3 times a day, 3 times a week. And it's the same kind of idea. It's a brilliant idea based on research of how to accomplish something. So
Isn't that what the ROM machine was for? The ROM machine was a 4-minute workout.
So what?
The ROM machine was a formidable
yeah.
workout.
4 minute,
Yeah.
4 minute, 4 minute
4 minutes.
workout. And
4 minutes.
Right?
yeah, yeah, so it accomplished the same thing in 4 minutes. And even Virginia worked out on it because I used to take her to Clint's gym, and she worked on it for 4 minutes. Hardcore. So what's the difference between the ROM 4 minute and the bike that you're talking about?
Well, if you'll send me a text to remind me, anybody, I'll be glad to send you a link. Completely different style mechanism.
Okay.
Now, we asked you to come back because you left without giving us any warning. And it's so special when you actually are here.
Thank you, Marcia.
We want to see what you want to talk about, so we'll go to you next.
Thank you. I did say in the chat I had to go. I had a work opportunity, which I completed. Thank you. I'm back. I was just taking you all in.
She had a work opportunity, so she left and completed it, and now she's back.
Wow, that was quick.
I'm good.
How much did you make on that 5 minutes?
$200.
I don't know anybody that has a better, time money ratio than you. I bet you even the CEO of General Motors doesn't have a time ratio as good as yours.
I'm sure he does.
Woo!
Anyway, thank you.
Okay.
I didn't really have a question. I really enjoyed the Kabir poems. They're so inspiring, and your explanation
Yeah.
was something I never heard, and it was very inspiring. And I want to continue that because I think it's so valuable because you're giving dialogue, you're giving interpretation that I've never heard before the entire time I've been around for 35 years. So I'd
I
like
will
to see that.
too.
It was
Yeah, well, a
helpful.
long time ago, I texted all of you that it was the Circle of Friends Bible and that it was a code for the inner secrets of practice of yoga. So I learned that by reading it. That was its gift to me, and I love sharing that. So if people are interested, that's a good idea.
Would
Now, what
love
else do you want to talk about?
Thank you for sharing that. It was very insightful.
What else would you like to talk about?
I want to share with you. This was something that was sad for me today. And it was my skio. My little skio died. And so I have two biofeedback machines, my Indigo and my Skio. And the Skio died. And so I've got to replace it. But it was sad that my little Skio died. And I couldn't get it to work energetically because I want to have two biofeedback machines running because I work with you all the time and other people. I have my prayer wheels going, but my Skio, they said that what they did is they replaced it with state-of-the-art new upgrades, which are about $25,000. And maybe about 25K. It's about maybe $15,000 with my trade-in because they want to be able to take the old machines and get them off the market and just give them all the new machines and the software. But I just did everything I could to make sure it could work, and it doesn't. So I'm now done.
Think about this. This is what I talked to you about. What was it, last night you were here? Yeah, that's what I talked to you about. You have a habit that keeps you down. You only you have so much power in you, and you probably only use 20% of your own power. And it's because you have certain ordinary mind forms that your energy, your lower energy, your higher energy can't connect and make. And this is a perfect example, is that you see things on the negative. In other words, from the positive, this is what I heard when you said it, I heard something different. I heard that source of everything comes from God. God doesn't fuck up, and God doesn't disappoint us, but we have to think with the mind of God. That's the whole idea. So I can see that you're in and out. If it's, if you're feeling good one day, you say everything comes from God, and then other things, shit happens. So I see that you got an opportunity to take all of the things you do with Skio to the next level, and that the creative force had decided you were ready for that.
That's the correct way to look at it.
Well, you're never going to progress. You all the time complain about you lost this and you had a partner and they left, or you have a whole bunch of woe is me stories about how you struggle. But that's the only reason you have any woe is me, because you don't look at things in a positive way. You don't look at what source is offering you. You have a duality of when source offers you something nice, you praise source. And when source offers something you don't like, you don't recognize source, the cause of it. Because if you recognize the source is the cause of it, then you pass through to another level. You'll take the opportunity, the source is bringing you. There's something called the Shakti or the Kundalini. It's an energy that spins in space and also at the center of every spine. And it's an evolutionary energy. And if you're aligned to it, you're always in evolution. And everything that happens, you pierce through it to understand how it can take you to a higher level of evolution. I know I don't talk to you about things you don't already know, but I can see that you still are in duality about applying what you already know and applying ordinary mind. And you won't progress to the next level of your own growth until you work that out. What else you want to talk about tonight?
I have nothing more for tonight.
Hey, well, that was good.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming. And
Of course. Thank you.
why didn't you let Ruby come tonight? Is she busy?
I asked her, I let her know that I would really like to come to Dharma Talk tonight and Dharma Talk tonight, and please come, and she didn't respond. So not sure where
You
she
mean
is.
she didn't answer? She didn't answer
Well,
your question?
yeah, she
She
didn't
just
answer.
sat there like she didn't hear it?
No, she was quiet. I told her I was in Long Beach and I was coming back to the home where the Oranges used to live, Rancho Santa Margarita, on my way back home and what I was doing. And then I really wanted to go to Dharma Talk and, be really great if she showed up. That's all I said. And she's okay. Thank you for letting me know. That's what happened. I always encourage her to come. I think it would help. I think it would help her. It helps anybody. We're either hiding or we're actively working to uncover our challenges here.
Okay, well, we've been doing this now for 2.5 hours. So let's see if in the next 3 minutes we can find somebody to talk about other things. You have something you want to talk about other than what you talked about? Or just more detail?
No, I don't.
You have something to talk about?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
So first, I'm really, really excited to be painting in the shrine room next to you. I'm super excited to start painting in there. I just feel like it's gonna be, I don't even know what's gonna happen. I just have the feeling in my body that's gonna be.
It's gonna be amazing because you're the hands and feet of my creative force, and you have your own creative force. It's gonna be apocalyptic.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody knows what we're doing. Do they know?
I don't think so.
We're turning what we call the shrine room into a painting studio, and it continues to be where Mershida transmits Dharma and teaches classes. So that's what that's about.
Wow.
Number 2 is I have a dream of having an Alice in Wonderland art show. I have a bunch of paintings. I'd really like to have them go out in the world. I'd like some of the proceeds to go to the New Being Project. And I've already, Shantaya put out a call a few months ago about raising scholarship money in trade of her doing a DJ set.
What?
DJ sets
Oh.
for her next. So I paid Shantaya to do a DJ set for my Alice in Wonderland art show. So I want to do this Alice in Wonderland art show with Shantaya.
Here? Somewhere?
Somewhere else, I think. I wanted it to be in November, but I'm thinking it could even be sooner.
What?
I had thought
I heard
November.
that.
I think it could be sooner than November.
Oh, all right, terrific. Anybody have any questions about that? All right. I think you can see that even though this place that somebody started calling heaven, and it kind of stuck, has been through many phases. It's in a space now of pure creation. It's a space of pure creation. And it's just creation that's coming through this place all the time. And it's doing its first branch out, because when Yeshua talks to Jack, he's gonna help him understand what's happening by understanding that heaven is now moving to liberty. Part of it is now moving part of itself to liberty, and will be going heaven and liberty out there with the school of perfect harmony. Is that right?
The Church of Infinite Harmony.
Church, with the Church of Infinite Harmony. Hey, Rashida, is there anyone to talk about?
I want to share a lesson of Shiva.
What about you?
I have one more thing I'd like to ask, if that's okay.
Oh, it's
I need to go rest. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night. Thanks for
Good night.
coming. Thanks for coming.
Okay. This is a base female question. And also, I'm here to grow. So if you slap me for what I say, cool. When I feel my beloved not looking or paying attention and being in his own head, and from my perspective, or laying down and from my perspective being silly, what do I do? It makes me want to just close and just be with God and be by myself.
I'm going to ask Rashida to translate that in her mind. What is she saying?
I think she's saying that sometimes she perceives her beloved, Joshua, going unconscious in some manner, and what to do in those moments.
We call that couch practice. Have you ever heard of that? Something we developed years ago. It's like when there's a feeling on either side of somebody not hearing or somebody not connecting, you stop. Anybody can ask for couch practice. So somebody says, okay, let's go do couch practice. And the only rule is that whoever asks, the person that is asked says, okay. And you do it right away. You don't get back to it. And then you just sit on the couch and work it out and then keep moving.
Rudra?
However you want to do it. You eat black-eyed peas with ketchup.
I remember another part of it too. Aren't you supposed to touch? Isn't that also part of couch practice?
That's the way we originally taught it. There would be some touch contact.
Right,
So,
okay.
it can be that, it can be a hand, it can be feet.
Right.
That you are on the couch, you find a couch, and you have eye contact, and you look at it. The only reason why I don't want her licking you is I don't want her licking off scabs.
Right.
I don't
Because
think
that's
I
not-
have any down there. Do I?
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
can't see. I think you do have a few here and there in other places.
She's licking the wound
Yeah, it's
right
not
there.
good for the
So-
dog to lick
Yeah.
it.
Maybe by the move.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for East's body. Much bacteria.
Here's what she was thinking.
Yeah.
She's licking a little bit of
It's-
I
blood.
don't think she
Okay.
was just
Well,
feeling
just
that.
want to make sure she's not,
Yeah,
causing more bleeding.
Rex-
Right.
Rexia?
so
You know, man.
what
Yeah.
were we talking about?
Yeah, the couch practice it starts with a conversation. You might decide you want to do Mudra together, but you can say, beloved, I'm feeling like you're going unconscious in this moment when you're doing such and such instead of such and such. Will you talk to me about that? And then he gets to say what he's doing. Oh, beloved, you're right. Thanks for the wake-up call. Or, I really feel like I need to rest right now, so I'm going to rest. And you might want to say, do you feel this is the best place to rest? I'm just making it up. And maybe he says, yes, because I want to be restful and listen to everybody in Dharma Night at the same time. So I feel this is the best place for me to lie down and rest.
Hey, Jim.
And you go, oh, great.
Yes, sure. Were you?
And you may get informed to have a different than perception.
Mhm.
Or in your conversation, he may recognize, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And
Front door.
maybe it's best for me to go upstairs and really lie down and go out.
Mhm.
That's open.
Because you're looking at the energy of something, or feeling the energy of something, or
Which is me.
or the lack of energy of something, and you're checking it out.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, that was the best Dharma night we ever had.
Yeah.
And Clint, thank you so much for your dedication to Dharma night. And you are the one who's furthest away in time zones, and yet you're the most regular of all people. Buddha's number 2. And y'all are like neck and neck.
Thank you.
So, Clint, would you lead us out with 3 Japanese yes? Hey! Hey! Hey!
Hey!
Hey!
Hey.
Computer, turn off.